Good morning. My name is Mary Kate. I am the daughter of Mary Ann Fisher, who is a teacher at Morris Knolls, and Elizabeth Fisher is my older sister, who, as many of you know, is also a teacher and the one who helped to put this presentation together this morning. When she invited me to speak about communities and specifically to the group at Morris Knolls, I was a little shocked. I couldn't believe how long it has been since I had been a student at the school. It has been 10 years. This summer was my 10-year reunion from graduating from Morris Knolls, which was one of the many communities that I have been a part of in my last 28 years. So I'll just give you a little bit of background. I am currently living in Washington, D.C., but as many of you know, I grew up in Denville Township. So I grew up on Indian Lake, which was an incredibly special place that bonded people not only through the proximity of where their homes are located, but through the many activities that the lake put on from a very early age. So I was blessed to have my grandparents and many family members also live on Indian Lake, which was an amazing childhood to be able to have so many people from our family so close together. But beyond that, there were so many new families who were a part of the community, and it really, truly was called Indian Lake Community Club, and that's what ILCC stands for. And the Board of Trustees and the families around the lake really make it feel like a community. They have activities for adults on Fridays, so they can all relax from the busy work week, but also the children are more than welcome to come to the clubhouse and swim, and they have the lifeguards who stay late. So everything about the way that the membership activities have always been set up has really been a focus on building that community, which I think is structured around the foundation of having neighbors and friends nearby that we can all lean on. I mean, as many of you know, a community isn't just based on the proximity, whether it be by age or by location of where you are, but also just building that foundation, that structure of support around you. So I was lucky enough to have that as part of my childhood, and I think one of the key memories that I have from that time was the King and Queen weekend extravaganza. So there's always a ball and a whole weekend dedicated to the graduating seniors. So after I graduated from Morris Knolls, as you can imagine, that summer was pretty busy. And it was a tradition that I had been looking forward to, for as long as I can remember. The tradition of electing a king and a queen of the lake had started in the early 1920s. So it was something that I had heard about since I was a child. And I think it really brings the community together on Fun Weekend, where we have activities for adults and children alike, focus on whether it be, sandcastle contests or some sort of athletic competition. There's always something for everyone. And I think that's part of building a community, is that core inclusivity that is really important to the people who are there. So I think I have a photo of when my cousin was also king, and you can see that there are also a number of people in the group that, are also members of the community. So here we have, the old and the new king and queen, but then amongst them are also a number of people who are in the grade below us, and then someone who's even a grade below that who we dedicate as the page for that specific year. So that person is also included, 2 years difference. There's always something for everyone to do. And then, as you can see in the foreground, are the children who are also included. And by including them, obviously we then have their parents who play a major role in the weekend as well. So it's just really important that the lake itself builds, kind of activities for everyone, so that everyone feels like they are involved. And there's plenty of fun things, whether it be, a work weekend that they put together so that all of the chores get done and everyone can take pride in the community that they live in, to, a cocktail party around Christmas time so that everyone has somewhere to go on a Friday night right before the holidays, if it's not with family or if they happen to be out of the area from where they're from. I think Indian Lake really gave people as a child, and even now as a young adult, a place to call home and to come back to, which I very much feel Morris Knolls did as well. So I graduated from Mars Knowles in 2007, and I can show you a lovely photo here of all of us graduating on graduation day, and this was something that we have been looking forward to, as you can imagine, for a very long time. So I was lucky enough to have an incredible high school experience at Mars Knowles. Our parents encouraged us to have very busy lifestyles. So as Shannon can attest to, we were busy with sports, pretty grueling academic course loads, and also a number of clubs throughout our high school experience that started almost from day one. So I played field hockey in high school and ended up as the captain of our field hockey team. And I think I was not the most talented athletic player on our team, but one of the things that our coach at the time, Amy Ottavinia, really instilled with us was the sense of teamwork and a sense of belonging from our freshman year, from the minute we stepped onto that field. During the first couple of weeks, which are really difficult for new freshmen, the field hockey team really gave us a sense of belonging. We all had to work hard and go through pretty intense experiences with one another. And I think that built that sense of community right from the start. We were going through difficult things together. We were all similar in age. And beyond that, many of us stayed together into our sophomore, junior, and even our senior year. We graduated with, I think, 8 graduating seniors my last year. And it was, the girls who really felt strongly about the program and also put in the effort. And I think that's part of a community, is really buying into the whatever foundation it is that you feel like you're a part of, what inclusivity you've been given. So I think in field hockey, everyone plays a specific role, but beyond that role, we all needed to rely on each other to get to the common goal, which, whether it be winning a game or later on in student government or the clubs, it was something that we were either trying to push forward, kind of an initiative, or even with some of the clubs, including Project Lead, for instance. I mean, that club was completely based off of mentoring the new freshmen coming in and helping them learn the ropes and kind of feel a part of the Mars Knowles community from day one. They had a mentor, they had someone they could ask questions to, they had some teachers and older upperclassmen that were kind to them. And I think that program in and of itself really fostered a mentality for me that this was important to help other people kind of grow within the community that you're already in, to kind of leave that legacy of inclusivity, whether it be, with younger kids on the sports team or just people that we saw in school. I think there was an opportunity there that at the time the Project Lead coordinator, Mr. Geary, really helped to hone and to teach us all to do, and left us with a great skill set that we moved forward with throughout all of high school and college. And it's something that, that I won't forget. But beyond that, I think it's really was a community that I loved being a part of. I was lucky enough to have Coach Ottavinia, really work with us. As you can see, our senior sports banquet here, we all, had specific talents. And I think one of the great part about Mars Knowles was that those talents were also rewarded, whether it be at the end of the year, whether at the banquet for your sports team, or for our senior year, the Senior Awards Sports Banquet that we had, where everyone was kind of given a nod, or at least the team itself was rewarded, and everyone had a special time to come together to reflect on what the memories that were made together, to remember that, moving forward as a senior, we passed on some fun memories to those underclassmen, whether it be some memories at practice like we see here, or even later on. I mean, we actually have the blessing of living by a lot of family, and field hockey was something that we all really enjoyed in high school. So moving forward, we were able to kind of come back even later, and now Elizabeth is a coach of the program, and our cousin, as you can see here, is still an active member of the team. And I think that really stuck with us. I mean, we were able to carry our sports and kind of that mentality of working together and having a schedule and a structure, and something that everyone was working towards, even into college. And you can see here, Shannon was also a varsity player in college, and I went to the College of New Jersey and was able to play on a few club sports there. So I think that was something that I was really lucky and able to do and be a part of. And even at college, I think TCNJ did an incredible job with freshman orientation, similar to Project Lead. They had a group of ambassadors that helped the underclassmen get situated and get ready for college. And this was the first time I think I was obviously outside of my community, outside of Denville, outside of Morris Knolls, and people who lived in my nearby area. Not that TCNJ is very far, but we were with kids who we had obviously never met before, and paired up with another young lady who was from South Jersey, and she ended up being my best friend. I think the school really fostered that getting to know you early on in freshman orientation. They built programs and they structured our class schedule around things that we had originally said in our earlier in the summer that we would be interested in. So it was something that I consider probably to be a little bit of a nature, a little bit of a nurture combination, but the school gave us the opportunity and it was on us to take advantage of it, which I think was a similar institutional, kind of working management style that we had at Morris Knolls. I mean, there were plenty of opportunities, even if you weren't involved with sports or any additional clubs. I mean, even the pep rallies. The pep rallies, I thought, build a foundation of community based on your age. I mean, there's nothing, everyone had to go. You have to sit with your class, and there were so many activities and opportunities to get excited to be around the people that were your same age. And even with that, we were encouraged to wear certain colors or decorate the hallways a certain way. So even if you weren't involved in things outside of other than being the age that you were, Morris Knolls presented opportunities to work with people your own age that are just in your proximity based on that, and make new friends, step out of our comfort zone, find something in common that we could then cheer for. And that is some of the most fun memories I have are those pep rallies, which I think built the Morris Knolls community even stronger with the administration getting involved. We saw our teachers getting involved. So there was no one who thought that they were, too cool to be a part of those fun, 40-minute sessions. But the whole school would get all excited leading up to that week. And I think it was just something that no matter who you were involved with, or you could be involved with, and there was no requirement, there was no nothing that precluded you from being a part of that group. And I think that's something that's important when you're building that community around, nothing that can hold anyone back. So that was something that I learned, if everyone wants to be a part of it, it's always nicer to be included than it is to be excluded. And I think a lot of the schools do. Both my schools, Morris Knolls and the College of New Jersey, did an incredible job, working with people through that and making sure people felt that way. I think all of those experiences kind of led us to bring us into our adult lives. So graduating from college was a little bit difficult, just because that sense of community that's built by your schools is no longer there. So it's kind of up to you to create that and find activities that you find interesting on your own. So one of the things that I, outside of just being around people from where you're from, took on sports outside of college. So here we are running a Tough Mudder with a number of friends from different groups, and then running a half marathon with a girl I worked with, and Elizabeth as well, and building that community outside of just being at school. So I was lucky enough to take up running and meet a number of people through the Hoboken Harriers running club, and just generally a sense of belonging, who then came out to help me run a marathon. So it was just incredible to have that sense of support, and knowing that support is behind you can kind of really help catapult you into the steps that we are now. And I think that foundation allowed Shannon and I to both feel like we had the support to move on to our next step, which, you can see here, was coming to the inauguration and now living in Washington, D.C. So this is our group from the inaugural committee, people that we work with who are now, friends of ours in Washington, D.C. And we've had incredible experiences, meeting people all around the world, or being at the White House and seeing some things that we would never have gotten to see if we didn't feel like we had support and the community behind us back at home, kind of helping to catapult us into the positions that we are now.